He comes out and then says hello on the walkie-talkie, but he does not get any response from the other side. Then Daniel sends a voice message to his wife to inquire about her well-being, but there was too much noise on the voice message. That's why Daniel's wife calls Daniel, and Daniel's wife asks Daniel, "Are you okay?" Because a lot of strange sounds were being heard in the voice message. Daniel listens to that voice message after the call ends, but this time he is completely shocked after hearing what he hears.
At the beginning of the movie we are shown a man. His name is Daniel. Meanwhile, Daniel is taking his son's ball out of the pool. After this we are shown Daniel's son, with which strange things were happening for a few days, and he heard some scary noises in the night, because of which he couldn't sleep. That is why the nature of Daniel's son was changing day by day. He was always silent, and his nature was not right with his parents. Seeing his son's condition, his parents called the doctor. The doctor talks to him, and he speaks of the voice he heard at night. Daniel's son says that those words make me want to paint or draw. The doctor thinks it's a bit strange, and she tells his parents that this is all just his imagination, because he has moved to a new house. That's why he thinks he is alone. After saying this, the doctor left here, but then strange noises started coming from the doctor's car. On the other hand, Daniel's son is the painting. A fly fell into the doctor's ear while driving, due to which the doctor is very irritated. But then the doctor's eyes started to bleed. His health continues to deteriorate, causing the vehicle to lose balance, and the car collided with a tree, and a branch of the tree went over the doctor's face, and very badly the doctor died. After death, the fly came out of the doctor's ear, and Daniel's son's painting is finished.
The picture he draws shows blood dripping from the branches of the tree. Daniel noticed that a lot of flies were flying on one of the walls of his son's room. Daniel is annoyed by that fly, and was trying to repel that fly with a spray. And then Daniel's son called him, and asked to take his ball out of the pool, and Daniel took his son's ball out and told him not to go near that pool. Then Daniel's wife asked her son to take a bath. Even in the washroom, he hears strange sounds from the walkie-talkie. After that he asked his mother, "His father does not love me. Does he hate me?" To which his mother says, "No dear, there is no such thing. Rather, your father loves you very much." At night Daniel's wife asks him if he has spoken to his son. Daniel said, "No, I didn't say anything." And here Daniel realizes that his son has said something to his mother, so he tries to convince his wife not to worry. "Our son is talking like this because he is alone. Everything will be normal when he becomes a friend at school." In the middle of the night, a very loud and terrifying noise was heard from near the pool, so Daniel's eyes open and he goes to close the gate. But when Daniel returns, he sees that his son is talking to someone on the walkie-talkie, and suddenly his son's toys are turned on, so he off the toy, but then he can sense that there is someone behind the curtain. Because of this he gets scared and comes back to his bed, but then that child feels that someone is slowly coming near him, and then suddenly someone grabs his face, and then Daniel's hand was applied to the photo frame, due to which it was surrounded and broken, due to which Daniel's hand also gets hurt, and blood starts coming. Next day Daniel's wife comes and tells that our son has been expelled from the school, because he did a strange act at school. He hide in a cupboard over there and even bite the principal. That's why his mother tells him that now every day the doctor will come to see you. Then the child replies that the doctor is dead. Hearing this, his parents think that our son is talking nonsense, and then after a while Daniel gets a call, and he comes to know that the doctor is really dead. But then they think that someone in the school must have told our son about the death of that doctor. At night that child was again hearing some voices from the walkie-talkie, and listening to those voices, he was also making a drawing. And then we see the soul of a lady in that child's room, and she was the one who was troubling them all. And tonight also some voices were heard from near the pool, and then Daniel comes out to check. He feels something strange outside. That's why he takes his gun. After going there, he finds his son's clothes, because of which he gets upset, and runs towards the pool, and hearing Daniel's voice, his wife also wakes up. That's why she came to check on her son in his room, but she doesn't find her son there. And then when Daniel reaches near the pool, he finds his son's dead body floating there. Daniel quickly takes out his son's body, and then he comes to know his son is dead. His parents become very sad after losing their child. Then Daniel's wife decides that she will go to her mother's house for a few days. Then she starts packing her stuff, but then suddenly his eyes fall on the pillow, which had a mark of blood on it. But she thinks that the injury on Daniel's hand would be the mark of the same blood. When Daniel's wife leaves from there, then Daniel was watching those videos when they had new shift in this house, and after coming to this house, his son was most excited. Daniel becomes very sad after watching this videos, and then he hears voices from around. Then he switches off the TV and starts going out of there, but the TV automatically turns on again. Daniel once again turns off the TV. He comes out and then says hello on the walkie-talkie, but he does not get any response from the other side. Then Daniel sends a voice message to his wife to inquire about her well-being, but there was too much noise on the voice message. That's why Daniel's wife calls Daniel, and Daniel's wife asks Daniel, "Are you okay?" Because a lot of strange sounds were being heard in the voice message. Daniel listens to that voice message after the call ends, but this time he is completely shocked after hearing what he hears. Then to listen to the sound properly, he upgrades sound on his laptop and listens, and this time he hears the voice of his son who was asking for help, and all this seems paranormal to Daniel. And before his son died, Daniel had seen an interview of a paranormal investigator. Then he goes to meet that paranormal investigator, and tells him about all the incidents happening in his house and also tells him about the voices of his son. That's why he asks for help from that paranormal investigator. At first he refuses, but later Daniel convinces him. Then that paranormal investigator brings his daughter to Daniel's house, and the name of the daughter of that paranormal investigator was Ruth. After entering the house, Ruth sets up cameras in the entire house. Then after setting up everything, she tries to hear voices in that house, but then Ruth sees someone sitting in the room, and she tells this thing to her father. She tells that Daniel is coming in the camera, will tell him to go out, but Ruth's father says that it cannot be Daniel, because Daniel though is sitting outside. Only then Ruth's father goes to check in the same room, but he does not see anyone there, but then he hears the voices of his daughter Ruth, who is telling her father to come out of that room quickly, because that soul was near with his father, but Ruth's father does not see anyone there. Then after some time a lot of voices are heard in his father's headphone, due to which he gets very nervous. After seeing all this, Ruth's father says that something supernatural paranormal is definitely happening here. That's why we will check again tomorrow. At night, Ruth's father sees someone outside the room. That's why he come out chasing her. Ruth's father sees that there is his wife, who was dead. That's why he tries to talk to her, but Ruth's mother confuses Ruth's father in her words, and she also gives him food, and wine too, and says that from now on we will be together forever. Then she starts cutting the hand of Ruth's father with a sharp knife, and only then Ruth comes there and brings her father to his senses. As soon as he regains consciousness, Ruth's father sees that he is automatically cutting his hand. On the other hand, we see that Daniel's wife has received a call from someone. When she listens to the call, she hears that her son is talking on the call, and he is telling his mother that father has brought someone to the house to harm me. Daniel's wife asks him, "Son, where are you at this time?" To which the child replies that I am hiding under my bed. Hearing the voice of her son, his mother decides that she will go to her home quickly. Ruth comes out and sees that the dead bodies of many cats are hanging on a tree. When Daniel is burying the dead bodies of all those cats, only then his wife comes there and asks Daniel to tell who are these two doing here and why have they come here. A lady calls Ruth to her and tells her the reality of this house. She says that you should leave here as soon as possible, there is danger here. Then Daniel's wife checks her son under the bed, and then after a while her son starts appearing to there. That's why she starts going to her child, but that child quickly hides under the bed, and then when his mother looks under the bed, she sees her legs on the other side, and those feet were now grazing on the bed, but when she looks on the bed, there is no one there. That's why Daniel's wife gets scared. That's why she tries to run away from there, but then she finds a woman behind her, and that woman puts her hand on Daniel's wife's face. Then Ruth's father tells Daniel about this house, that in this house many years ago, a witch was tortured and killed, and that's why the dead bodies of those cats were hanging on the tree. Those cats were actually used in some black magic and ritual. During all this, Daniel's wife commits suicide by hanging herself, and jumps down from the window. And after the death of Daniel's wife, flies and blood are coming out of her ears too. After losing his son and now his wife, Daniel becomes extremely depressed, and he decides that he will keep finding out who killed my son and wife. Then suddenly Daniel sees his son and his wife, but as soon as he removes the curtain, they vanishes from here. But then suddenly the same ghost attacks Daniel. Ruth, who is watching the footage of Daniel's wife, and she notices that when Daniel's wife hanged herself, that ghost was also there. Then they hear the sound of gun firing on the walkie-talkie lying nearby. Then they quickly goes there and tries to relax Daniel. Then Ruth's father tells Daniel that the witch used to be tortured under this house. Then Daniel tells that I know the way to go to that place. Then Daniel breaks the same wall where the flies were. After breaking the wall, they find a secret place there, and there the skeleton of that witch was lying, by touching which Ruth's father gets to know the whole thing. He gets to know how that witch was tortured. Then those people decide that they will burn the skeleton of this witch. Then Ruth's father pours petrol on that skeleton, and tells Ruth to wait outside. But as soon as it goes down, the flashlight stops working. That's why the witch attacks Ruth's father. Then Ruth calls out to her father a lot, but no response comes from inside. But then Ruth sees her mother, who was dead, and she is calling Ruth to her. But Ruth understood everything, that this is a trick of the ghost of that witch. That's why she does not go to her mother, due to which his mother disappears from here. And later that witch comes in her real form and starts scaring Ruth. Daniel, who was looking for patrol, and then he sees his son and wife, and they asks Daniel that will you not stay with us? Hearing this, Daniel hugs both of them, but in reality it was not his wife and son, but she was the witch that he was hugging, and this was a trick of the witch. Daniel also got trapped in the witch's trick. That's why he starts putting patrol on himself and is about to set himself on fire, so that he can stay with his wife and son forever. Ruth's father was trying to burn the skeleton of that witch, but then Ruth comes there and attacks her father, and stops them from doing so because that witch has possessed her. But then Ruth's father succeeds in setting fire to the witch's skeleton at the right time, due to which Ruth comes back to her senses, and now she had become completely normal. And along with this Daniel also survives. Now everything was normal, and Daniel was looking at the drawings made by his son, and in the drawing Daniel sees that everyone's method of death was already written, that who will die how. Seeing this drawing, Daniel remembers something, and he remembers the same night on which he heard the voice. He remembers that a fly had possessed him too, and he himself killed his son by drowning him in the pool. And when he slept, then that fly came out of his ear and a drop of blood came out. The drop gets surrounded on that pillow, which his wife was considering as the marks of injury on his hand. Daniel feels very sad after knowing all this, and he regrets his actions. That's why he goes to the pool and shoots himself to death. And here we come to know that Daniel's son has already drawn the method that killed himself and his father. After that we see that the witch was looking at Daniel. It means she was alive and not dead. That means they could not finish that witch. Then we see Ruth and her father, who were watching someone's footage, in which a girl was possessed by some ghost. Means now both of them will help that girl. And here was the movie. Don't listen.